Scott Patterson is our speaker tonight, and he's joining us by Zoom, and he'll take over and have some slides to present. He's manager at the Carma House at Wellspring, Alberta, and it's a charitable organization to ensure that anyone that has cancer doesn't have to feel it alone. If you've read his biography, it's quite impressive. What we found out is he's also an actor, and he starred in a TV show called The Gilmore Girls. And he's also an Olympic skier. And anyway, so one has to be careful, of course, when doing Google searches. You never know what's going to turn up. But anyway, he's going to talk to us tonight, and as I say, he's with Carma House, and it's a terrific facility. If you've never seen it, I'd invite you to go there and have a look at it. So welcome, Scott, and you're going to take over as your presentation, I think.
Thank you, and good evening to everyone, and thank you very much for the warm welcome. I've heard of that other Scott Patterson on Gilmore Girls. I guess it is somewhat of a name that's shared by a few other gentlemen out there. I'm sure they're all great guys. But that was definitely not me, not an actor on Olympic at all. But I'm happy to be here this evening. I appreciate the warm welcome, and I see a lot of parallels between Prostate and Wellspring, Alberta, as we too are non-medical. And we are emotional, social, and practical in nature. And I have a PowerPoint presentation that I will share here. You know, one of our mission statements is no one has to face cancer alone. And we are happy to be here tonight. It's our pleasure. It's privilege work, what we do. So we support absolutely anyone living with cancer. You could have found out yesterday or 5 years ago. It's irrelevant. You are welcome to become a member. Any of your immediate family, I should say, are welcome to become members, or anyone important in your life as a caregiver, whether that's emotional or physical support, are welcome to be members with Wellspring Alberta. Membership is at no cost. We offer over 75 programs and supports. They're all based in evidence, so that's important to know, and they're all led by paid professionals. As I mentioned earlier, we are not medical, so we leave that to said cancer center. Often nowadays, it's the new Arthur Child, an amazing facility we're fortunate enough to have here in Calgary. But there are 16 cancer centers across the province, or whatever our members, their care team are. We leave those medical questions to the professionals. You'll see some quotes as we go along here, so I invite you to read the quotes while I focus on the rest of the material that's being shared. So we are a very warm and welcoming community. We provide a very comprehensive range of support, resources, programs, and like I mentioned earlier, anyone living with cancer and the people that care about them, this is to really improve their quality of lives. So we know that some folks sadly will pass from cancer, but that number is getting a smaller percentage all the time. Some folks will, go beyond cancer, which is absolutely amazing, and some folks will be living chronically with cancer for the rest of their lives. So we want to help folks live well with cancer. So a little bit of our history. In 1992, and this is Wellspring Cancer Support Foundation in Ontario. So we're an affiliate. There are 5 Wellsprings in Ontario, and then there is Wellspring in Alberta. So it was created with a model patient oncologist team in 1992. In 2009, Carma House opened, and it's Carma with a C, and folks often ask, why is that? Well, the house was gifted to Wellspring Calgary at the time, before we became Wellspring Alberta, from Carma developers, and that they've now moved into Brookfield Residential. So that's the evolution of the company there from Carma. Wellspring Edmonton, which was separate from Wellspring Calgary, started their own affiliate in 2017. And then Wellspring Calgary, second location, Randy O'Dell House, which is about 4 times the size of Carma House, opened in late 2019 in November. It's just 2 blocks south of South Health Campus, so it's in Seaton in the southeast. So we have a location in the northwest. Carma is in Montgomery, and Randy O'Dell House is in the southeast. And then shortly after it opened, COVID happened in March. So it was open for about 4 months, and then We had to close our doors for a little over 2 years. But we are very proud of the fact at the time, the 3 centers just had in-person programs. Over the course of that weekend when everything closed, it was around St. Patrick's Day in 2020 when everything closed for the pandemic. We had 4 online programs up and running over the course of a weekend with new program leaders, members registered, and programs running. And now out of our 75 programs, we have about 80% of them that are available online from the comfort of your own home. We now have members from coast to coast to coast, some in the territories. We have some in northern states. We've had folks join us from Europe and Australia and programs and speaker series. We hope that geography or citizenship is not a barrier for most of our programs and supports. In 2020, we started an online and outreach strategy. So our hope now with our online programs that we won't be going anywhere, we reach more Albertans than ever, is to bring Wellspring to the remote, rural, Indigenous, smaller towns and villages across Alberta and really support as many Albertans as possible. In 2022, we merged and became the first provincial Wellspring in Canada. So now we are Wellspring Alberta. I'm very proud of that fact. And in 2023, launch of outreach programs. So we now have programs that have started in Red Deer. We have programs that have started in Lethbridge, just this past fall in Medicine Hat, and we hope to start program in Grand Prairie this year. So we're extremely proud of these facts. So Wellspring programs, like I mentioned, over 70 evidence-informed programs. They're offered 5 to 6 days a week, depending, including evenings. We have over 130 paid professionals. Really, the second bullet there, I cannot stress enough, is the heartbeat of our organization is our volunteers. We have 30 paid professionals for 3 centers. That's it. We have 30 staff. So I think we punch well above our weight in what we can provide for Albertans, but we are nothing without our volunteers. They are everything to us, and we put them on a pedestal. When we onboard them, we really provide as much training as possible, a lot amount on emotional intelligence. So we're all singing from the same songbook. We recognize them. I mean, Volunteer Recognition Week's coming up here soon. We have annual celebration for our volunteers. And now more than ever, to have volunteers, to keep them engaged, we really have to meet volunteers where they're at, when they're available, and be more flexible than ever. That's just the new reality with volunteers. We want to complement what the health system offers and at times does not offer. So our programs are developed and piloted through a rigorous research and proposal process. You can imagine when folks are diagnosed with cancer, they hear a lot of words like from family and friends, well-intended, well, you should be doing this, and why aren't you doing this? And those land like cinder blocks. So should and why are 4-letter words at Wellspring. And we let our volunteers know this too. It's often language matters, so it's the approach. But we get emails daily, you should have this program, and why don't you have this program? And I could do this program. So there's all the opinions matter, but we like folks to have an awareness that the programs we bring through are based in evidence. They do take over a year before they come from, the thought process until they're actually put out for our members to use and feel supported with. So it's not just because so-and-so wanted that program. You can be rest assured that there's a lot of thought and process, and they're well vetted before they're put forward for our members. Again, all our programs and supports, we consider ourselves an extension of the healthcare system. So we're available at no cost. We like to say no cost. Often you may hear folks say it's free. As we know in life, nothing is free. There's a lot of work that goes in through our resource development team, fundraisers, awareness that bring in the money to allow our programs to remain at no cost for our membership. And they're without referral. That's very important to know. A lot of folks come from maybe other centers. Maybe they've moved to Alberta from other provinces or other parts, other countries, and you would need a referral for some of these things. At Wellspring, you do not need a referral for our programs and supports. And it's easier than ever. Folks can walk in like they used to for years and years into our centers and register. You can register simply online right now in a matter of probably less than 2 minutes. You can register and become a member. And our programs are accessible online, over the phone, Zoom, in person. We really try and meet the needs of who we're supporting and bring the program to them in a way that would best support them. I know that stat there is from just a little over a year ago, but we served over 2,800 people living with cancer, including 500 caregivers. And I know in 2024, that went to over 3,400 people and over 700 caregivers now that we're reaching beyond just Calgary and Edmonton and reaching rural Alberta. So additional supports, we have self-paced online resources and online webinars. We have some kid-friendly programs, but it's important to know as an organization, our membership is mainly 18 and above. We try not to duplicate programs where it would be at risk for an AHS program to where sadly they may cut funding. If we were in the private sector and duplicating a program, they're saying that's offered for free here, we may remove funding here. So we really want to listen to our partners, whether it's AHS or Kids Cancer Care, different cancer care centers, and try not to duplicate programs. We have young adult programs. We have a variety of young adult programs. So they're for 18 to 44. It's important if you think maybe you're diagnosed, sadly, with the type of cancer, could be leukemia, it could be a variety of different cancers, and being a 22-year-old and having peers that you can talk with and do programs with respectfully that are more in your peer group. So it's important that we provide that, and we heard that from our members, and we provide that now. So we'll have Young Adult Weekend. This weekend they're getting away. They do 3 times a year. They're going to Camp Kindle. Again, at no cost to our membership. We'll have climb nights. We'll have socials to bring young adults together. They'll go to the fireworks, lights at the zoo. At that point in that age, a lot of it is about just their peer group and feeling supported. We also offer a lot of programs and supports to the public. So you do not have to be a member. There are programs and supports that are available to the public at all time. We have 3 libraries in our 3 centers that's open to the public. We have speaker series, 3-4 times a week in the evening that's open to the public. Our Money Matters you can access, it's open to the public. So there's a lot. For instance, in Randy O'Dell House in the south and Carma House, every Friday we have a jam session. So 15 to 20 musicians come to each center, sit in a big circle, and they do campfire classics, and they play music and instruments and sing together, and it's amazing. Folks don't miss it. When it was minus 27 last week, they were there. That's the highlight of their week, to come and jam together and play music. We have transition support. So we do not offer counseling in Wellspring, Alberta, but maybe you've been given an impossible diagnosis, a really tough one. It could be anticipatory loss. It could be loss of a loved one. It goes beyond peer support. So you can speak with a professional. They are doing an assessment, but at the same time, most importantly, listening, seeing where you're at. They're focusing on what our members need, their time, their energy. And then they're offering awareness of what Wellspring has, and often beyond maybe what Wellspring can offer, because it's important to know that we're not a distress center. We're not emergency. So for the folks that maybe have a really almost over-the-top impossible situation, they can see our transition support coaches. We have a variety. Right now, we have about a dozen different community groups that use our spaces. So if they serve cancer in any way, we allow them to use our spaces for free. For instance, this evening, the Brain Tumor Support Group is at Carma House. Look Good, Feel Better uses all 3 of our centers. The Head and Neck Support Group uses our centers. So there's a variety of different groups that support people living with cancer. It's the same people that we support, same mandate, so we allow them to use our locations at no cost. We are a community. We hear that all the time, and the quotes we get from our members that shares that all the time. We think of ourselves as a third space. When you think of your house as a first space, and these places are becoming more and more rare, where you can go and just be with no expectation, or you can enrich yourself. You would think of a library almost as a second space where you could go and you can enrich yourself, socialize with other folks, just be. These places are becoming more and more rare in our communities, unfortunately. We think of Wellspring as a third space where you can come. Some folks will come and just be with others or go for a walk, have a coffee, some banana bread at one of our centers, and they're not even participating in a program. They just need a change of scenery. They're there just to be for the day, and we encourage that. Again, it's talking of the programs for many young adults. It's a place for those who have finished treatment. Some folks find us when they're already done their treatment, and we hear this quite often. We wish we had known about you earlier. But when folks find us, that's the right time. We have caregiver-specific programs, like Compass for the Caregiver and Caregiver Finding Sanctuary. As we know, this is becoming more and more important all the time. When we think of folks on their health journey and their caregivers, we should be selfish, and it should have a positive connotation, that word. All too often, it's a negative connotation. But when you can focus on yourself, and so you're grounded and you're balanced, and you get the tools to support others that really need the support, that's being selfish with your health and your loved one's health, and that should be applauded and celebrated. We have a men's group. A lot of men, I would say our membership is about 70% female, 30% male. I'm probably not raising any eyebrows in this group about bringing men in can be a little more difficult sometimes than bringing women in for supports and programs. But a lot of our men that come into the men's group, we share things. It's very open. We meet in person and online. It's very informal. And often they learn from other men who are caregivers, who are widows, who are members living with cancer, recently diagnosed. And they learn of other things. Oh, what other programs are you taking? Oh my gosh, I didn't know I could take, yoga here. I didn't know there was art classes and exercises classes available. I didn't know that you offered golf lessons and fly fishing in the summer. This is incredible. It's a place to come again and just be and connect with others. We're very proud of our Indigenous Cancer Sharing Circle. For this program, it's important that you do have Indigenous descent to participate in this program. So either Métis, Inuit, or Indigenous. In-person programs in regional communities that I mentioned before. And we're very proud. We're starting as we grow now and you become a bigger part of the community. We've just hired on a new Northeast. She'll be based out of the Northeast, but it's a Southeast Asian community connector. The largest minority within Canada and in Calgary is the Southeast Asian community. So we are going to be building connections, most importantly, listening, going into the community, listening to what they need, and then really focusing and trying to develop programs to support the Southeast Asian community. At Wellspring, we support and welcome absolutely everybody, regardless of religion, political views, sexual orientation. It all comes down to respect. So when you're at Wellspring, we respect one another. We respect each other to have different opinions. But we keep it at respect. And so we absolutely welcome everyone that walks through the doors here at Wellspring. Our program offerings. So like I said, there's a lot. There's over 70. They fall into about 6 kind of, I would say, categories. So exercise and movement for some of our programs. In the exercise and movement, you can see some of the examples there. Yoga is a huge one. They're very popular. They're offered at all 3 of our centers and online. You can imagine in our center, there's capacity. So if you're doing a yoga class in the morning at 10 a.m., that may have room for 15 to 20 people. Where if we're doing yoga online, you could have room for 30, 40, it opens up a lot more. You have options. This is the wonderful thing in Alberta. There's 2 options within Calgary alone, or you could do it online. Maybe you're under the weather. Maybe the weather is poor. You could live, 90 minutes drive from Calgary, Edmonton. You still have the availability to be supported and take options with that. Self-development and educational opportunities for programs. So Healing Journey. This is an amazing program for folks going through the whole cancer process. There's 5 levels to Healing Journey. Compass for the Caregiver is a huge program. It's extremely beneficial. A lot of our members really, really enjoy this program, and they speak to other caregivers when they first come to Wellspring and share their success with this program. Nourish program, so that's in the kitchen. We partner with places like Made by Mama, local kitchen, and we'll bring our team there with volunteers and program leaders and our members, and we'll have a laugh over a few nights working in the kitchen there. A couple other program categories would include symptom management. A huge one would be brain fog. This is quite popular for folks that might have had chemo radiation. Often it could be cognitive effects from that. Even anxiety can bring on brain fog. And this is, for some folks, it may be short time. For others, it could last months or beyond. So getting the tools and supports to really help yourself be a little more successful when folks say you look great, you're past this is good. Symptoms can sometimes last a very long time. So learning how to manage those. Meditative breath work, improve your breathing. Again, anxiety rings true for a lot of folks, especially with cancer. And cancer, as my colleague says so lovely, it's not just stay in a little box when you're at the hospital. When you have cancer, you could be out of work for a while. There could be stresses about finances, stresses about how to cover drug costs, stresses for housing, income replacement, and the fact that cancer, you can't even focus on your own cancer because of these other things that are happening. This is where, the programs that help lessen anxiety really ring true for a lot of folks. These are very important things and things that we need to support people with. These are real life things. Even though you can't see it, they're very important things that we need to support our community with. Therapeutic arts. These programs are massively popular. So open art studio, creative journaling. We do digital storytelling too. That's an excellent program. The knitting, learning to play ukulele. They do harp in Edmonton House, drumming. Like I said, the campfire classics, coming together and doing music together. It's extremely therapeutic. In our art programs, they'll do ceramics, watercolors, oils, paint like the masters. So it's well loved. The practical side, you see a lot of this in the finances and work strategies. So our Money Matters coordinators, they're social workers. So you think of anything paperwork related. And this is where a lot of folks did not have this awareness of Wellspring, that it goes beyond and goes into this neck of the woods. So sometimes it's just worth just ringing and asking to speak with the Money Matters coordinator. They'll meet you on the phone, via Zoom, or in person. Because sometimes ignorantly, we only know what we know. And we didn't know to ask this question or go down this path. But if you need a hand with or knowledge, or you're not sure what to do, we can walk alongside you every step of the way. But for drug coverage, income replacement, disability tax credits, retirement, AISH, taxes, wills, estates, speak with one of our Money Matters coordinators, and they'll help you along every step of the way there. Individual and group support. These are very well-loved programs. So when you think of the Indigenous Cancer Sharing Circle again, the caregiver group support, living with a cancer that may never go away, that's program was named by our members. So members that are living with, it could be a chronic cancer, could be, cancer that is metastasized or later stage cancer. They wanted to call the program Living with a Cancer That May Never Go Away, and why shouldn't they? So it's a great support. We have support program for supportive conversations or reflections on grief, loss, and cancer as well too. So again, membership, I know it says here is free, but I'm not a fan of that word. I like to say is at no cost and requires no referral. It's as simple as going to our website, wellspringalberta.ca. After you become a member, you can expect to receive a welcome call. So our team of volunteers will call you within a week or two and just welcome you to the community. They may ask you if you have any questions. Are you finding it tricky to register? They can help navigate that space. And when you reach out to Wellspring or Wellspring reaches out to you, and may this always be true, you're never going to have a chat bot or AI. It's a real voice at the other end of the line. If you ring, we might be busy, you might get a voicemail, but that's expected sometimes, but we will ring you back and it will be a real person. It's not going to be, like I said, a computer or an automated voice there. So yeah, the membership can participate in programs and services, again, online, over the phone, or at various locations. And again, we welcome people living with cancer at any stage, their caregivers, their immediate family, their loved ones. So we have a new website. So we're an affiliate. So when you look at our programs online, there's different filters, but it looks overwhelming at first. You're like, that's more than 75 programs, Scott. That's a few hundred. But you can choose Wellspring Alberta, or you can choose Wellspring Cancer Support Foundation Ontario. You can choose London, Niagara. So if you're a member with us, you can take the online programs in Ontario, or vice versa. They can take online programs from Alberta. But the core of our programs are in person. You can narrow down the search. So maybe brain fog is busy in Calgary for the month. Oh, I can take the brain fog program based out of Toronto online. I just have to be mindful of the time change. Well, they're both offered online. So if you can take it in the same month, then it's being taught, by our sister affiliate in Ontario. It's another great option if that works better for you. For our community partners, much like right here, if you don't want to be a member, you can still go onto our webpage, and when you register, you can choose, I'm a person living with cancer, I'm a family member caregiver, or I'm a community partner. You can choose I'm a community partner, and when you do that, you'll get information updated from us from Wellspring Alberta. You can find community resources. You can partner with us. You can request presentations or a tour of one of our centers. There's just a lot of benefits through that and awareness that you can get by going down that path as well. So this is a little graphic, obviously, of the province of Alberta. So we're just sharing here how we have been expanding our reach, especially since the pandemic. It's part of our 5-year initiative. So we are dedicated to building stronger cancer support communities in and outside of Calgary and Edmonton. And we're proud to say that our outreach manager last year, she visited all 16 cancer centers in the province of Alberta. And when she had done that, even the folks at AHS didn't know one of their employees that had accomplished that feat across the province, one single person that had visited all 16. Rebecca Perkins. So we're very proud of her for that. And now we have relationships at all 16 centers, and we're getting volunteers that we call community connectors. And we're actively recruiting. We already have a team in Lethbridge, Red Deer, Medicine Hat, and I personally had 3 interviews this week recruiting volunteers from Grand Prairie, because the center managers like myself are part of recruiting the volunteers that are coming from across the province. So our programs that we do run in the centers outside of Calgary and Edmonton are called Cancer Connect. So this is an example of the one that's happening in Red Deer. So we find space, or we partner with the community, and Red Deer is with the library. And we're meeting there twice a month now. And in the first year with Red Deer, we're listening. Nothing's worse than, Scott coming in from Calgary and saying to the folks in Red Deer, this is what you guys need. This is how you should be doing things. That always lands like a cinder block. So we go in respectively, we build relationships, and we offer, and then we're invited in, and then we listen. We really pride ourselves on listening to what the community wants, what they need, and then working together, we start to build programs for what the community will need that will be community specific, because it is very different from community to community. Our funding, so Wellspring Alberta receives funding from the generosity of the community, which enables us to fulfill our mission and serve people living with cancer again, so it's at no cost for our membership. So the ways that we share within the community that folks can give to Wellspring would be events and fundraisers, legacy gifts, gifts of securities, becoming a monthly donor, vehicle donations. When you go to the depot, dropping off your bottles and cans, you can say Wellspring Alberta. It's that simple. And so you could do that once a year if you're dropping off things, and then be able to donate to Wellspring Alberta. Weddings and birthdays, gifts in lieu. There's always different options and creative ways, as I'm sure that Prostate's in the same neck of the woods, looking for ways to bring in the funds to enable the good work that both organizations do to support our community. These are different organizations that we currently partner with, and that we have the privilege to work along and learn from, that help and support Wellspring Alberta too. So we like to share awareness of these amazing folks as well. So referring, if you know anyone, and chances are we will, that gets cancer. Right now, it's a little over 44% chance that if you live in Alberta that you may have cancer at some point in your life. Could be a neighbor or friend, colleague. Just are you aware of Wellspring Alberta? You know, I've heard of this place, and you know, a lot of people find they do beneficial work. Just that quick sentence right there is, you know, you're going above and beyond. A lot of folks, like I share, that I wish I'd known about you earlier. Of course, we have a toll-free number. We have centers in Calgary and Edmonton. Our website, wellspringalberta.ca. We have a staff and volunteers answering calls daily. Most importantly, we will listen. We have folks that walk through the door and we catch them. Our team of volunteers will catch them. Sometimes it's their first time there and they're like, I was just told to come in. I'm not sure why I'm here. Some folks come in literally like deer in headlights, and we'll bring them to our peer support room respectfully. We'll offer them a warm drink. We'll close the door and we'll listen to their story. And we'll focus on the time and energy that they have and what's most important to them. Again, we'll offer a tour. We'll assist with navigation, program registration, and folks are on all different levels of technology. I just helped a couple. He was 94 and she was 87, and they became members last week. And they don't use a computer, and I high-five them. That's wonderful. Who needs one? The supports are the most important thing. And on behalf of Wellspring Alberta, sincere thank you. Thank you to everyone here this evening for listening and just becoming more aware of the things that we do with Wellspring.
Thank you, Scott. I'm always amazed whenever I've been to Wellspring a few times, and I'm always amazed at the comprehensiveness of your work and what's new and so on. It's just incredible. So well done.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure there's some questions for you, so I'll just ask our group if there's anything they want to say.
Not a question. I guess what I'd like to say is thank you for bringing to our attention I'd heard of Wellspring, but had no idea of how far reaching and how many different aspects there were. So I've taken notes and will follow up.
Thank you for that. It's a common response that we get. So I am just ecstatic that you're aware of it now. By you being aware, you can easily share with so many other people. So this makes everything just worthwhile. That's music to my ears that you're more aware of this now. And please know, and we mean this wholeheartedly, our centers are open Monday to Friday. We open at 9 a.m. You do not need to book a tour. If you happen to be in the neighborhood, you can just pull over, come in. You'll be met warmly by volunteers, by staff. We'll stop what we're doing. We'll give a tour. We'll, offer coffee, tea, a light refreshment, and we'll listen. But you're welcome to come in anytime, or anyone that you send our way will be welcome to come anytime. And, we'll give a tour. That's who we are.
God, just to be clear, you're on Home Road, aren't you?
Correct. Yeah, 1404 Home Road. So,
and that's just east of the Shoaldice Park, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah, we're right behind Beauview Manor, so we're about a quarter of a block from the river, really close. So it's a nice area, a nice mature area. We're just south of 16th Ave, so we're the part of Home Road closer to the river, not the part that goes up the hill. Just down the road from the water main break this summer, really. It just happened up at the corner beside Safeway there. We're there. And then the south location, Seaton, in Randy O'Dell House, is 2 blocks south of South Health Campus. So sometimes folks are going to South Health Campus, and it can be like to park around there. Well, they're 2 short blocks, actually, not big ones, or they may have a appointment or something, but it's all free and lots of free parking at Randy O'Dell House. Yeah.
And your programs are offered at both locations in Calgary, is that correct?
Correct. And in Edmonton at Edmonton House. Yeah.
Well, Scott, I really want to thank you. That was really excellent, and I think the best thing is, as you've said, is for people to go online to get the information, and then they can download any brochure or whatever suits them. So, thank you again.
My pleasure. I just wanted to bring up one gentleman's name. I think you gentlemen will recognize his name straight away. Bob Phillips.
Oh,
And
yes.
he's a true gentleman. He spent a lot of time with me when I first started at Wellspring. I'm in my 4th year now. Full transparency, I was a nurse for many years, acute care nurse. But I've spent time with him, and he's been a little bit of a mentor for me, and I'm learning a lot just listening to him and his Métis heritage, and a true gentleman. And I just wanted to share that with you gentlemen and everyone here tonight. If there's some lady, I can't see everyone there, but with everybody, if there's ladies and gentlemen here, but just wanted to share his name. And I feel bad if I didn't bring up his name, but he's a hell of a guy, and I'm a big fan of his.
True. Bob is on our board, as it turns out, Scott. So
That's right. That's right.
So a few of us do know him quite personally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you. I'll pass that on.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, well, thank you, Scott. It's been a pleasure having you here, and we'll look forward to perhaps seeing you at Carma House.
Yep, I would love to anytime. If anyone here, yep, just ask for Scott when you come in, and I'll see you right away. And thank you, everyone, for your time in inviting us. And whenever you need us back, just let us know. We'd be happy to come back anytime.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.